Good day, everyone. This is the Dr. Sophia Rothschild show. And I just want to have a quick commentary today on what's going on in California, Oregon, Washington, and New York. And people always say to me, why there's so much shoplifting in these places? Like it's a pandemic. Yes, and it's by deliberate design. I call these the crimes of the progressives. And these states are run by progressives slash socialist slash communist. And their idea is that directly or indirectly, they are influenced by communist and socialistic ideals that private property is evil and wealth is evil. So if you notice in these states like California, Oregon, Washington, and New York, every attempt is made to make private property unattainable. For example, they pass laws that make it almost impossible to prosecute shoplifters and stealers. Last time I checked, thou shalt not steal means thou shalt not steal. And there are lots of people who are poor and homeless that don't steal, and the people who are rich that steal. So stealing has nothing to do with monetary issue, materialistic issues. Stealing is about lack of moral values, and but these states run by progressives, which are who are much influenced by communists and socialists, don't believe in private property, don't do not think private property and wealth creation are an evil. So what they would do, they come up with all these laws and all these things to make um, private property extremely hard to attain. For example, they make it easy for people to rob your store and walk out without getting prosecuted. And that's why there's an epidemic of shoplifting in California, Oregon, Washington, and New York. Also, you will see these states, they have exorbitant um, taxes on private property. Something that you already own, they're taxing it because they want to make it so hard that either can't own it, or if you own any private property, it's very hard for you to keep it because they tax you out of existence. And even if you can, if you manage to hold on to it, you pass on to your next generation. The all this called inheritance tax and all this tax make it almost impossible for you to keep your future generation to keep their their house, their farm, their land. And it is by deliberate design by these progressives, by these progressives who's greatly influenced by socialists, who's greatly influenced by communists, to make private property literally unattainable. They want to either tax it out of existence or allow people to come in and rob your store and steal your store, so they can no longer have private stores and private property, and then they can come and say, "Oh, now we want to create these called government-owned grocery stores and government-owned business," which is just utter nonsense. They fail to understand that communism will not work and socialism will not work because it saps the individual's creativity and initiative and drive. Okay, and that's why that's why it's the all the shoplifting in New York and California and Oregon and Washington. It's by deliberate design, called by the progressive, who are greatly influenced by communists and socialists because they think private property is an evil, and they either make it tax for property, or they talk about inheritance tax and wealth tax to make stuff they can continue to tax you out of existence. So pretty soon there are no individuals owning private property, and there are no wealthy individuals. Everybody just one poor uh, camp depending on the government for total control. You become a slave to the government. We must not allow that. must resist. That's immoral. Okay. Now, another thing is this: on in a lot of these so-called progressive, when somebody becomes successful, they tax them even harder. Again, it's by deliberate design to make it virtually impossible for people to become successful. They want to make everybody the same, dull, boring, mediocre. And that's what progressivism and socialism and communism does. It makes everybody mediocre and dumb and stupid. And that's the problem. We must fight back, and we must do everything in our power to put a stop to these people. We want to take away private property and take away private income, take away private housing. And so because with all these things, they keep taxing, and then they come with inheritance tax and make it easy for people to rob your store without getting facing the consequences. Literally, they want to destroy not only the middle class, but they want to destroy the very essence of private property, wealth creation, and people being innovative and creative to become rich and successful. And not going to is no nonsense about the billionaire tax. Once again, all these people do is come up with ways to take away private property, take away people's money, wealth redistribution, income redistribution. And these are actually said over and over again, they don't work because wealth creation has created and lifted more people out of poverty than any system in history. Wealth creation, yes. I heard it. You heard what I said. Wealth creation has lifted more people out of poverty and hunger than any system in history. When people can own their own land, when people can innovate and create and do things for themselves, they thrive. When people are being told that they must all be equal and all are the same, and it never works. Wealth redistribution never works. It only creates resentment and it destroys initiative and creativity. All right? So, and that's what's really going on. These are crimes of the progressives, and we must resist it and stop it. And that's my commentary for today. Thank you.